Hi everyone, have you got heel pain? Pain on the bottom of the foot, even extending up into your toes, really sore when you put pressure on it in the morning? It most likely is plantar fasciitis. A common question is, why are you so sore first thing in the morning? Getting up out of bed. That's because your ankles have been in a plantar flex position all night long, and suddenly you put weight on your foot in a flexed position. Plantar fasciitis is a very stubborn condition. It can go for a year or longer. In this video, I have the 4 tips and measurements you need to achieve in order to get rid of your plantar fasciitis once and for all. Now, plantar fasciitis affects all sorts of people. People who are on their feet for too long, such as retail workers, cashiers, busy mums, people who don't have the time to sit down and stretch. Also, being overweight will put more pressure onto your plantar fascia, and people who run long distances. Marathon runners who do not give their feet time to rest. The tendons and the muscles have been in a shortened position for all night long, and suddenly you're stretching it and putting weight on it. Now, in extreme cases, that pain can last up to half an hour or more, but for mild cases, it goes away pretty soon. On an ultrasound, your plantar fascia may be thickened. There may even be a heel spur growing at the bottom of your heel if you've had it for long enough. Now, the key to getting rid of plantar fasciitis is to stretch the muscles under the foot, your plantar fascia, and also going up into your calf, soleus, and ankle. So the first thing I want you to check is, can you do a full, deep Asian squat? Can you squat all the way down to the ground, hamstrings covering the calves, knees going well over the toes? And are you comfortable in this position? Ideally, the back shouldn't be flexed to accommodate this position. If you cannot do a full squat, it means your ankles are already very tight and you are at a disadvantage even to begin with. So start by getting used to the deep position. If you need to start with your hips further out or on an incline board, start with that and gradually bring your knees together or get rid of those heel elevations. If you cannot do a full deep Asian squat, it means your calf, ankle, soleus muscles, and plantar fascia are likely very stiff to begin with. Practice holding these positions for increasingly long periods of time. Eventually, it should feel like you can sit down, like you can squat in this position, watch TV, look at your phone, even meditate for several minutes at a time. This is great for the circulation and the flexibility of those same muscles. When you are strong enough, start going all the way up and all the way down, and eventually do it with some weights. Pushing up with your whole foot and then going all the way down, holding for a few seconds and repeating. The second test is your knee to wall test. If you are less than 8 centimeters, your ankles are limiting how deep you can squat. It could even make walking downstairs difficult, because to go downstairs, your ankle does need to bend. If your ankle doesn't bend far enough and is less than 8 centimeters, you will likely be lifting a heel up off the step just to descend. So it's a sign your ankle also is too tight. To solve this problem, do a knees over toes lunge and hold for several seconds at the end position where your knee should be right over your toes and beyond. Holding for a bit, do not let your heel lift off the floor. You should feel a nice stretch up your soleus, calf, and Achilles tendon right above your heel. It's not uncommon for these areas to be sore and tight with plantar fasciitis. Third test is looking at how well your big toe extends up to the ceiling. It should be able to point right up to the ceiling, 90 degrees big toe extension. Now, if this is tight, it's likely that your plantar fascia will also be tight, because your plantar fascia has connections into your big toe. To stretch it, get into this kneeling position where all your weight is back onto your heels and your toes are pointing straight ahead in the direction that your face is. Hold for at least 30 seconds at a time. If it's too uncomfortable, don't lean all the way back onto your bottom. When this gets too easy, do it on one leg by putting the other leg into a half kneeling position. Again, holding 30 seconds or longer. So all of those 3 previous tests check your flexibility, but to get rid of plantar fascia once and for all, you do need to get stronger in all of those muscles. Your plantar fascia, your calf, your soleus, and Achilles tendon. Starting on a step with a rolled up towel, put your toes right onto the towel and go all the way up and all the way down. This will be surprisingly hard. Holding at the top, 1, 2, 3, and slowly down. Hold at the bottom for a little bit and then go all the way up. We want you to do it at least 10 times. That is the bare minimum to get rid of your plantar fasciitis. If you can only do it several, build it up to 10 or more. And if you get to 10, go for 15. Getting stronger and better at this is what remodels your plantar fascia, getting it stronger and more resilient. So that's it, guys. Follow those 4 simple tests and you will more than likely achieve victory over plantar fasciitis. Now, if it's still hurting, you may need to continue this journey of exercises for at least 2 or 3 months. Continue to get better and better at all of these tests. So if you got your knee to wall to 9 centimeters, get it to 10. And if you're squatting deeply with 4 or 5 kilos in each shoulder, go for heavier weights. Finally, you can start massaging the bottom of your plantar fascia. You can use your hands and press into sore spots. You may have to play around a little bit to find where that sore spot is, and it can travel up into your toes a little bit as well, or further up from the heel. This should give you some short-term relief. You can do the same thing with a massage gun. And if it's really stubborn and not going away, a lot of people have success with the shockwave, which is kind of like a meat tenderizer where a bullet hits a metal head rapidly, sending a physical shock or impulse into those tendons to help with circulation. You can also look at your footwear. For some people, they may prefer more cushiony, more supportive footwear, particularly if you're overweight or have been on your feet for far too long. For others, people need to move their feet more and may prefer a more flexible, more lightweight shoe. Customized orthotics do not appear to be any better than off-the-shelf, cheaper versions. If you do have a heavily pronated or flat foot, or a very arched supinated foot, it may be worthwhile to consult your podiatrist about getting a customized one. More likely than not, an off-the-shelf orthotic will be just as helpful. Hope you found this helpful. I referred earlier in the video to getting a full depth squat. I have a full length video just over here. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and share.